then. Yes, I believe it's recording now.
Yeah, there you go. It says it's recording, so yay!
Great! So, welcome to Interviews with Irene. Today, my guest is sketch artist David Faught. And David was kind enough to answer a few questions for us. So, welcome.
Yay! Thanks for having me.
Hi. So I was wondering, how did you get into art?
Oh, luck. No, actually, um, it was a friend of mine. I had drawn all my life, and she had me do a comic, and like she's like, "Do you think you'd ever want to do a comic?" I'm like, maybe. Like, I was always a huge comic fan and all, but I just never did really see doing a comic. And so I thought, you know what? Why not? Let's just try it, And I actually started out, I was going to be a Disney animator, which is another story I'll tell here in a minute.
Oh,
And then she saw my work and she's like, yeah, let's see what you can do as a comic book artist. And so I done that, and it actually she was really good friends with Tom Welling from Smallville.
okay.
Oh yeah, he saw it, and he's like, "Oh wow, this is pretty cool. Would you, think about going into comics?" So it just kind of snowballed from there,
Mm.
and yeah, that's how I got into it. It just kind of, after that, people started seeing my work online, started going online. They kind of helped. Then I got a job at actually WB in DC for doing background work and all for DC Comics, and then I also got some work for DC Marvel. So, and basically what I done was I was a shadow artist, and basically what it is like when you go in and shadow for another artist. Like if an artist, say like an artist wants to do all of like the character work, and they don't want to do the background work because background work is so labor intensive. They would have me do the background work and they would do the character work.
Right.
So that's how I got discovered, was that. And after that, it just kind of took off and just went crazy.
Nice. So, how did you, when was, when did you almost get into Disney?
Well, what happened was, this is a really cool story. This is always kind of, it makes me smile every time I say it. Back when I was in high school, I actually had, this was way before we had internet and way before we had the technology we have now that tells you how old I am. But back in the day when I was a junior and senior in high school, I wrote Disney asking what would it be like, what do I have to do to be an animator? Because I was a huge Disney fan growing up. And actually Glenn Keane contacted me, the guy that done Beauty and the Beast and done Ariel and done all those.
Mm-hmm.
And actually for 2 years of high school, he took me under his wing and taught me how to do stuff.
Oh.
How to be a Disney animator. And he's like, you don't have to be an artist. Yeah, I just want you to be an artist. Don't think about just being a Disney animator. Be an artist.
Mm.
And yeah, for 2 years, he kept me under his wing and, kind of helped me out. And I started to go in, and some things happened, and my mom fell ill. So I decided to stay home and take care of her. Yeah, so that happened, and it was just a life situation, which I understand. And that was almost my fame to go into becoming a Disney animator, which I'm kind of glad I didn't now, because things went to computer, and I'm okay with computer, but I'm sure I learned, but like everything's went to digital and
Right.
all, and I probably had a harder time with that.
Right. So, and you always post the cool conventions you get to go to. So how do you choose the conventions?
Actually, it's it's a kind of a weird process for me because like a lot of my conventions is like say VisualCon and RubalCon.
Mm-hmm.
They're local and they're my good friends. Like I know them. They're family. Like a con for me, especially around Springfield, is like going to a family reunion. Um, um, a lot of times, like if I get asked to go. If I get asked to go, then I'll try it out. The one thing I am starting this year, which I've done one and it was a blast, and I've been wanting to go back, and I want to do a horror con again.
I see.
And because like I'm all these years I've been doing like like regular Comic Cons, and they're fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I went to a Texas Wizard World Texas one year, and it's when Texas Frightmare Weekend started out, and they actually had the two cons together. And so if you go to one con, you get to go to the other one for free.
Right.
So like while I was, which I shouldn't have been, I was working one con and running back and forth between them because like I was talking to people like Ari Lyman that played the first Jason Voorhees. He was really cool. He's like, "Oh, David, you need to come over here and sit with me for a little bit and do cons with me and try a horror con real quick." And so I done that. But yeah, back to your question, it just depends. A lot of them, if I'm interested in, I'll do it. I've never been to San Diego Comic Con.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I will probably never go to San Diego Comic Con.
Never say never.
No, the most, the busiest one I've been to is I've been to a couple Star Wars celebrations,
Mm.
and I've seen how busy those are, and I think I'm good.
Oh. And in Chicago or
I actually, oh, funny story, real quick. I'll tell you. I'll make it quick. Um, when I decided to get into this was like a couple months after I come out with the book from a friend of mine, and I got a bunch of my friends together. I'm like, you know what? If we're gonna do this, let's just to the wall. Let's just do this. Let's just get together. Let's just make this happen.
right.
Okay. So what do? We all pulled our money together. I had an old Chevy van. We pulled our money together. And that year we went, this was, oh God, 10 years ago. Tell me how old I am again. This is when Chicago was called Chicago Comic Con, not Chicago Wizard World, Chicago
Oh,
Comic Con. And so we all pulled our money together, pulled my gas money together. We all bought a table, about 8 of us sharing one table. And we went to Chicago Comic Con. 3 days later, we came back with $10 about a fume's worth of gas in the tank and our tails between our legs.
oh gosh.
But it was a learning experience. It was fun. Like it was a blast. But man, was that a learning experience?
Yeah. Always good.
Yeah.
You need to keep learning. um so I noticed you did a storefront a while ago for one of the local stores in Springfield.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, how was that
It,
experience?
it it turned out really great. We did a deal. It was a comic book store just opened up. It says Nameless City Boards and Games,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted me there for a free comic book day. And we kind of done charities for people and stuff and everything, and
Right.
it went really well. A lot of people. I was, of course, me, the diva. I ran
Mm-hmm.
late a little bit because I had something I had to do that morning, and I walked in, and it was just I could not believe the people that was packed in this little store.
Oh wow.
And I done a free print for people, and usually when I do a convention, like I either if it's a bigger convention, I do a print for the con,
Nice.
and that's either I either do it to sell or like every year we have a library con here in Springfield, Missouri, and
Mhm.
it's basically where they take the district libraries and they
Yeah.
have kids to come in, and it's a free con for people, for kids that hasn't experienced Comic Cons, and I'll do free stuff for that. I'll do like a free pinup to hand out to kids and stuff and all, and we'll do like seminars and show them how to draw, and we'll sit for a couple hours and draw with them, and it's just a blast. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what that was. We had people to come in, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Again, kind of a learning experience, but uh, fun. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Sounds really cool. So, what are your future projects?
Oh well, right now, of course, I'm working on with you at the storyboards.
Yeah.
Those are, oh my, hopefully about done. Nothing bad. It's just right now I'm working on a that's taking pretty near all my time. Which, Chris, I love you, but if you see this, uh, I'm working on actually a horror board game that's
Oh,
loosely based on Friday the 13th called Scare Acre.
yeah.
And so far, I've done almost over 100 pieces for it.
Mm.
And I've been working on that since January. And this is why I'm this lovely shade of pale, because I haven't been out
Yeah.
Comic Con since January.
Oh, wow.
But my future plans are I'm gonna go like I think I'm gonna kind of I'm gonna leave the comic book world behind. If I don't, I'm probably gonna make a comic for myself and maybe for a couple of friends of mine. I'm gonna stay in the independent scene. Um, I love Marvel, I love DC, I love Image, I love all the big people, but it's just I'm getting to the point I'm getting too old for it.
Hmm.
Staying up for, when you work for them, you got to have 24 pages done in 2 weeks,
Oh,
basically.
oh,
So, and I'm just getting too old. So, like, I'm gonna go into the horror field. I'm gonna go into. I've got a couple actors and actor friends from the horror community that's really opened their arms and helped me out.
I know. I saw your pinup of Jessica, and
Okay.
all those others, they're so good too.
I'll have to tell you the whole story about how we met Jessica. That was funny. We actually met her at a con, her and I forget, Heather, and that was one heck of a weekend. Yeah, we I done that one, and I'm gonna be probably doing more stuff like that. I'd like to work with her more. There's some I'm getting ready to announce that's really exciting. I get to work with. I've asked, and they're like, "Oh yeah, don't even think twice. Just go ahead and do it." And really, like I said, I'm not putting down the comic book community at all. Like I love the comic book community. They same way. People like J. Scott Campbell, David Finch,
Right.
all those guys. If I've went to a con and I've had something to show off, they welcome me with open arms. But the horror community, you probably know this too, Irene.
Yeah.
They are so welcoming. They're so sweet. For people that do disgusting things in their life, that's funny. I'm sorry, but like Kane Hodder that kills people. He's one of the nicest people you ever want to meet, and they've welcomed me, and it's amazed me. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna head into horror community, maybe work on some horror movies, in the mid to horror movies, mainly do pinups, and do more cons. Definitely do more horror cons this year. Well, not this year. I'll probably do them next year. I want to do Crypticon. I want to do Texas Frightmare Weekend. Uh, some bigger ones. So that's my plan. If it's gonna work, we don't know.
Um, so outside of drawing, what do you like to do? Like any interesting hobbies or
Is
do
a lot
you
of
have time?
a lot of people laugh at me at this. Well, you can kind of tell because I'm a bigger guy. But I growing up, I like to cook. My mom, she was a huge cook. She was that soul food person. Growing up, we grew up in in the South. We grew up on a farm. We raised our own beef. We raised our own hogs. So yeah, like that's my second passion. I love to cook. Like I'll have it shocks because I'll have people over and like I'm in the kitchen. Christy, I'll tell Christy, I live with my sister Christy, and I'll tell her just like go away. I got this. I'll take care of it this weekend. I'll have 10, 20 people over at my small apartment and I'll cook for them. I love doing it. It's fun to me.
Awesome. I
So
like it.
yeah, that's kind of my say. If something happened, if I didn't want to draw anymore, if I could pick up, that'd be fun.
Yeah, yeah. You could teach me. I'm not that. I do some dishes, but I'm trying to learn more.
The one thing that's the only thing I don't like about cooking is doing the dishes and stuff and all. After that, I'm like, Christy, I love you, and she's like, you cooked, you do them.
She's smart.
Yeah, she keeps me in line.
Oh, good. Yeah. Is she older or younger?
Oh, older. We're 7 years apart, and she
Oh, yeah.
she she
Yeah.
keeps me, and she does a lot of my business work for me. She'll do a lot of my manager work and stuff and everything, and
Good.
she does a lot of that for me and all and stuff. And she sets up hotels, sets up cons for me and stuff and all. So she's just as big as part of the group as I am. So
Wonderful. That's good. Always good to have support from family.
oh yeah, yeah, and she's been there. When mom and dad was alive, they a quick story, real quick, another one, kind of a funny one.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was a prison guard and police officer growing up, and I sit there and draw, and he's oh, that's cool, that's awesome, you can do that, blah blah blah, and the dad told him I was going to be a career of it. And he's like, well, maybe you ought to get something a little bit more, sturdy. Maybe you ought to go work at the prison with me and all, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, we'll see. I'll think about it. And I said I can kind of do this as a second job. And Muscle and Fitness Hers magazine got a hold of me, and they wanted me to do a pinup spread for them. And basically, it was for their articles. They wanted me to do a drawing, a couple of drawings for one of their articles. And I told Dad, I said, this is my first professional gig. He's like, yeah, but maybe it's something you got to think about, to kind of. So we're sitting there one day, and like I get it done. It's the thing, like you get paid, but it's like usually a month or two later because that's the way they just do it.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting there, and again, this is back in the day we didn't have internet or nothing, and I get a check in the mail, and I go, oh, Dad, I got my check from Muscle and Fitness Hers, and he goes, that weekend job you done? I go, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He go open it up and see how much it is. Open it up, and it's $1,500. He goes, honey, he goes, sir, you go ahead and draw all you want to. He goes, do it, just make a career out of it.
Mm-hmm.
He saw that check. He's like, yeah, never mind, you can do it. So yeah, but I always had support of both of them and Christy, and they never looked back on me. They never doubted me one bit.
Wonderful.
So.
Any advice for future artists?
Okay, this is the stupidest, most. I don't. Okay, I get this question a lot at cons, and this is what I'm going to tell you. And for future artists, you listen to me really close.
Mm-hmm.
Draw. That's what I'm gonna tell you. And because you don't know how many artists I have come up to me at cons, and they go, David, how did you break in the business? And I said, number one, I see you up here and you don't have a sketchbook on you. And they're like, well, I said, no. I said, when I was young, I didn't care if I went to the car wash. I didn't care if I went to the grocery store. Mom went to the grocery store. I always had a sketchbook on me. Always. I had a cheap, 10-cent pencil from the store, a cheap notebook. It might have been college ruled, might have had lines on it, might not have been a regular sketchbook. But I always had one on me. and I drew everything. If I saw something that interested me outside, I drew it.
Alright.
Um, do that. Draw every day. Every day. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. And show your work off. Do not be afraid to show your work off to anybody.
I agree.
Um, there was years like before I got into this, I would not show my work off, and that was a big mistake. I wish I'd done it sooner.
Yeah.
So start showing everybody. You know,
Yeah.
nobody wants to throw it in their face anyway. See, look at this.
There you go.
So that's my big just draw. Because like I said, I have so many people come up to me, young kids, and they ask me if I break into it, and I said just draw, and somebody will see it. Somebody will see it one day and will hire you. I guarantee it.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nowadays with the internet, if you throw something up on the internet, somebody's gonna see it, and somebody will hire you for a job.
Oh yes. I can see that too. That's how a lot of people were discovered. So
And
yeah.
I'm so glad that the kids nowadays have this internet, because back in my day we didn't have it. And part of my language, it was a pain in the ass to get out there. I mean, Hans, you had to, yeah, you had to go from in person. You had to be in person to show people, or you had to mail them off, and you never heard anything back.
Right.
Now you can get the people's reaction in person, or you can get the people's reaction, online.
Right.
So use internet all you can to use it to your advantage.
Right.
So
Okay. I agree. Thank you so much, David, for
no
being in
problem.
the interview. And looking forward to more of your work, especially my story part.
Oh, I can't wait. I
Yeah.
swear, like I've got probably a quarter of them done.
Oh, wonderful.
And when I get this project done, which will hopefully be next week,
Yeah.
Chris, next week, yes.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I'm gonna jump on those and get those done, and then I'm gonna probably take probably a 2 month break.
All right. You deserve it. Well,
So
thank you again, and
thank you, I appreciate it.
all right, and have a good day.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, all right.